Given the level of censorship that goes on here on this platform right here, I put these up and I got a message from them on my phone talking about copyright claims, partially blocked. Um, I used to put up the little disclaimer, fair use disclaimer, and that would stop part of this. But anytime you get a lot of traction like this video got, they automatically start doing this and then block it. And that way, if someone was to tell me, hey, I got your link, it wouldn't load because I sometimes email the link. That's a quick, easy way for me to tell if it's been shadow banned. So this kind of gives them cover for it not working. Oh, well, the copyright holder blocked it for that area or region. That's what they claim here. Either some countries or regions, blocked it. So if you go through here, because some people have told me, yeah, you're allowed to use little snippets of copyrighted material, but really it's fair use, and that's education, critical speech. You can read the guidelines here that stipulate if you're not trying to make money off of it and you're criticizing it or teaching, and all my tags are truth and education. So it's obvious from my video, I'm telling you it's not as it's portrayed. It's not a real sporting event. I mean, and I go into detail in part 2, and the very end of the video wraps it all up. I try to keep them under 30 minutes because it takes forever to load these videos. If you look here at my Google Drive, Google Drive is, part of YouTube. Google and YouTube are the same thing. So I pay $2 a month for 100 gigabytes of storage. So I'm uploading all 3 parts of this football thing so that I can't be critiqued on any of this stuff. And I'll put the links in this video to the film. So please, if the links do not work for you, by all means, put it in the comments so that I can be aware of it. This is the only platform I know that you should be able to watch it. It's the only way I can get around these different issues with their copyright garbage excuses for censoring content. So as a content creator, I can go here and fight the action, You can remove the part that they claim is copyrighted. Like right here, they're claiming it's the Super Bowl content that's copyrighted, so the NFL doesn't want me to show it, and they don't want to allow me to discuss the fact that it's rigged. So you can claim it's disputed, and the main thing is my channel is not monetized. So I'm not trying to profit off the content, even though they'll put commercials up on my content and say that the money goes for the person that owns the copyright. See how that works? So if they do allow you to see it, they'll load it up with commercials, and you as the viewer, I've had it been told to me by friends, well, you are advertising. No, it's not me, it's YouTube that's doing that. So the reason I don't really try to put these movies up on BitChute channel or other platforms, Google and YouTube are the fastest for loading videos. And as you can see, to upload this to my Google Drive, it's going to be 35 hours from now. So it's kind of always been a pain in the ass to load or upload these films to expose these things. But I've done it because the Bible says his people perish for a lack of knowledge, and that's so true. I found it for myself. My faith has grown abundantly by finding these things out. So I just wish to share them with others. But they make it extensively harder and harder to do. As I said to this fellow here, Paulster X, this link worked fine. I come from a poor family. I didn't have funds to be able to attend college on my parents, so I had to work my way through school. I did not major or get a doctorate or a graduate or undergraduate degree in computer science, so I would not have any idea how to make this link work and not work. I know a little Visual Basic and CAD CAM software from working as a CNC programmer, other engineering type software programs that related to my career. So I wouldn't be able to do any of this manipulation that this man accused me of doing, but I documented in this film that this stuff has been manipulated by the hosting site BitChute, and it's a form of shadow banning. Now they've allowed certain people to view the film, or it's just a counter that they put up. I don't really know which is true. If they've just got a counter that says ever so often add a few views to the person's video and actually nobody's seen it, but this was shadow banned from YouTube. It's still on my YouTube channel, but no one can see it. So I put it up here and the same thing has happened. So this video here I've linked in my football comment on the first video back to Paul to let him recall that he claimed this is all nothing but conspiracy, even though it is nothing but news footage. And again, this was completely banned and I got a strike from YouTube. So I'm basically making this video here as a prelude to the bigger videos I want you to see that I will load on my Google Drive. The next video, I'm going to talk about this action over here with the rioters. As you can see in the video, this is not being shown in the impeachment trial, this type of video here. So I'll make a larger film and you can go through and watch this stuff and compare it to what you're seeing in the news. That's what I'll show you. So look for that. I'll put a link and another little short video together for that. But once I get all these uploaded, I'll put the links in the description to the video because I never delete anything. And as you can see, they muddy your message by taking down your videos or claiming I made it private. That's just ridiculous. But they do that all the time. So I'm not going to try to change the way I speak about different subjects like some YouTubers do to get around the algorithm or artificial intelligence that they're using to police people's free speech. I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. So I invite you to check it out. Look, folks, you don't need to have a PhD in philosophy or be a person that's aced a bunch of logic classes in university. When I was there, like I said, I was working and the factory I was working at was reimbursing me for my college classes. And for example, we had engineering courses that didn't correlate to the work I was doing as an engineering technician, where I was analyzing and correcting PLC programs. They would show you archaic flip-flop diagrams and have you map the path and all of this. And this is all outdated stuff. It should have been a like an engineering history course instead of something that had real-world applications. And whether it's primary school or secondary education, I learned throughout attending all these different things that what they were doing is not teaching you things that are useful, more or less just getting you to regurgitate the things that they wanted you to know. And a lot of it was not very helpful. I would tell some of the kids whose parents were paying for these classes, look, when you get to your factory job, you're not going to use any of this. You're going to use this software here to do all this stuff. And I sometimes mention that to the professors, and they would just, oh, yeah, we're teaching you the basics so you understand the concepts, which no one really needs to know. And that's why I titled my channel Hillbilly EDU, because you don't need all this advanced understanding of different things in the world. You just need your God-given common sense and logic and reason to figure these things out. But if you just watch the presentator of your evening news and check out and maintain an alpha or beta brainwave state where you're just accepting of all the information and you're not critically judging it, you will be propagandized. And I was for a long time, and I've broken through those paradigms of thoughts, and that's what I'm trying to show you here. People like this fella here that just love to defend anything of this fallen world, any of their lies, will always engage in ad hominem attacks, whether it be you're paranoid or you're a conspiracy theorist. They always have these different ideas, and they always try to appeal to. Look, folks, this former Kansas City running back in this interview on the phone said it really well. People hate to believe that they've been lied to. The rulers of our false matrix world know this about human nature. We hate to believe that we're wrong. Our cognitive dissonance won't allow us to accept these things. And when people that are atheists like this come out to defend the world system, they will ultimately appeal to all kinds of things, even if it's a logical fallacy. He doesn't even know the game of football, but yet he wants to make an argument when he doesn't know the history. If you just use the last 10, 15 years, people know that the remarks that I made at this point in the video are true. How many times have you seen a player come onto the field and immediately the announcer starts talking about that player and then they make a play? And then, oh, well, we couldn't have scripted that. That's always what they say. We know this. Here's an example of the idea that we are all currently living in the book 1984. If you'll see here, the CIA coined and weaponized the label conspiracy theory. Okay? Document CIA dispatch labeled psych or psychological operations that was distributed in 1967 indicated they coined the phrase conspiracy theory and conspiracy theorist to attack anyone that challenged the official narrative from the Warren Commission. Okay? Now, we all see people that don't like to entertain an idea that contradicts what our society and the progenitors of our worldly view espouse. Snopes is one of their go-to platforms of this modern day news speak, as it were, from the novel 1984. And they try to debunk any and all information that contradicts what they want us all to believe. Did they invent the term conspiracy theory? And then they go about to knock down their own straw man argument. It is hilarious how they do it. But the actual term conspiracy theory emerged more recently. They go in, and people that won't research it will go no further than this and say, yes, see, look, you can do a search on Google, and of course it was invented in 1870. But then they say, the smoking gun proof that people say the CIA really did it was this document that I just read in the Google search. And here it is. This is the dispatch. Okay. And what does the subject say? Countering criticism of the Warren Report. So it is weaponizing conspiracy theory. But now look at what they say here. One may find the CIA's attempt to influence public opinion problematic, but there is not a single sentence in the document that indicates the CIA intended to weaponize, let alone introduce the term conspiracy theory to disqualify criticism. In fact, conspiracy theory in the singular is never used in the document. Conspiracy theories in the plural is only used once, matter-of-factly, in the third paragraph. Conspiracy theories have frequently thrown suspicion on our organization, for example, by falsely alleging that Lee Harvey Oswald worked for us. Okay, now let's go to the actual document and look what it says. Frequently thrown suspicion, okay, they work for us. Now, next sentence. The aim of this dispatch is to provide material countering and discrediting the claims of the conspiracy theorists so as to inhibit the circulation of such claims in other countries. The modicum of research engaged in by these self-proclaimed so-called fact-checkers is absurd. In order to debunk the idea that the CIA intended to weaponize the term conspiracy theory, they first engaged in the idea of arguing semantics, that they didn't say conspiracy theory. They said theories. And as if that's not enough, they tell you that the article itself is titled Concerning Criticism of the Warren Report. They can't even be honest about the subject of the so-called dispatch. It's not concerning, it's called countering criticism, which definitely leads to the idea that they were trying to weaponize the term. See how they have to change the title of it just to fit their narrative? And so-called self-proclaimed intellectuals will proffer this as a proof that what you're trying to tell them is not true. They didn't make it up. The second point I want to make to go along with this is before Snopes or the so-called fact checkers get around to knocking this information out, let's go back and reiterate. The director of the CIA said, "We will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." William Casey, director of the CIA. Of course, they'll later try to claim he didn't say that, but the proof is right here. Now, I'm sure when the lady and the witness dies that stated for a fact this person actually said that, the quote itself has been passed around extensively on the internet, and some people claim Casey never really said it because the only main source it traces back to is a late political researcher and radio show host, Mae Brussell. However, Brussell is not the only person that can be attributed to sharing the quote. Someone posted a meme on Quora back in 2013 with the note, a disclaimer. I just like Warren's debunking or showing the stupidity behind some of the worst FB memes. Look here, from his first staff meeting in 1981. This is a new trend lately, people trying to debunk old and most especially established damaging quotes. That's true. They're doing it with quotes from Einstein and other people trying to say that, well, they didn't really say it. This time, however, someone who claims to have been there when Casey said it showed up to validate the quote. Okay, so these are the primary people that were involved. And after, a senior White House correspondent, Sarah McClendon, who was a close friend and colleague, who in turn made it public. This lady here, okay? Apparently, he said it in response to what he saw as his goal as CIA director. And then this guy, Greg, put it up on Quora. Okay. So it is true. Now, if someone later tries to come by and say, Snopes debunked it, you can give them the truth, because that's what's happening nowadays. People love to throw out the term conspiracy theorists to try and get people to believe that what you're seeing or hearing from a person is therefore nullified or void. And they don't even know the origin of the term and why it was first used, was to discredit people by an arm of the government, which means to govern your mind or control your mind. That's what government means. So the defenders of any and all things in the state, whether it be fake sports, fake news, or fake space, will always try to demean people with these comments that are derived by these agencies that are used to try and control what we think about certain things that aren't really true. Now, the term coined by the CIA directly relates to the JFK files. And look, why the last JFK files could embarrass the CIA. There's roughly 3,600 documents that's never been seen by the public. And then they've got a woman here named Martha Murphy, and according to law, the records have to be released, but it's not guaranteed. She works at the National Archives. Okay, she's looked at many of these secret government documents. So according to Murphy, that works at the National Archive, among the 40,000 documents, roughly 3,600 have never been seen by the public. In the 3,600 rough documents, there's 1,100 that are CIA documents, which make up the largest share. And remember, Trump didn't release all the documents because he bent to the appeals from the CIA and FBI. The withheld CIA files include those on some of the most mysterious and controversial figures in the history of American espionage, particularly individuals who are known to be involved in CIA assassination plots around the world. There are at least 332 pages of material on E. Howard Hunt, an almost mythical spy master, who is most famous for running a ring that broke into the Democratic Republican Party headquarters. It was Hunt, shortly before he died in 2007, who claimed that he had been privy to a plot by several CIA affiliates to kill Kennedy, what he referred to as the big event. Also under review by a special team of archivists are at least 606 pages about David Atlee Phillips, another CIA officer who won a medal for his role in overthrowing the government of Guatemala in 1954, went on to run operations in Latin America, and along with Hunt, played a leading role in anti-Castro activities in Cuba. Phillips was accused, though never charged, of committing perjury when asked about agency ties to Oswald by the House Select Committee on Assassinations. Phillips, too, late in life, attributed the JFK assassination to a rogue CIA officers. So they have ties all through this, and this explains very simply why they appealed to Trump to keep these documents secret still, this late after the assassination. But we should all just trust the research done over here by Snopes and forget all these factoids, right? Wake up, folks. So any argument to make them look like they are right and you are wrong is what they will do. Just look and read this. flawed logic of Einstein, the apparatus shortened. That's what they used because the Michelson-Morley experiment proved the Earth didn't spin. They didn't see an interference pattern in the light. So they had to conclude to keep the Earth spinning that the apparatus shortened. Okay? This is one of the best statements this man ever made, really. You've got to be as wise as a serpent, as the Bible says. Jesus said it best. We are in spiritual warfare, and it's a battle for your mind, your heart, and your soul. Paul said it best in the epistles. People love the lie rather than the truth. They take pleasure in unrighteousness. He said, I believe in Timothy that God would send them a strong delusion that they would believe the lie. What's a bigger delusion, my friend, than what's shown on television? Eventually, you'll see them land people on Mars on the TV. We see all these things on the TV. The Bible plainly states that God is not the author of confusion. This is the work of our rulers. Government means to govern or control the mind at its basis. Anyway, it seems very odd to me that this platform would delete preaching. I mean, again, free speech, practice of religion, what do they care? Anyhow, these type of churches came about, I believe, right after 9/11 when Bush created the 501c3 charitable organization designation where they, I believe, aren't allowed to speak out about certain things. That happened right after 9/11, so it's probably just a coincidence. But anyhow, given our current situation with this pandemic, and now most of these churches, I've heard of a few, one in Denver, one in California, which have fought the mandates given by these governors, if you will, again, mandates instead of laws because, you know, the Constitution says you can't make a law, right? But these churches don't really want to stand up and fight, and they certainly won't go for in-person meetings now. They want you to worship online, but they fall right in line. And they're not really walking out the tenets of their faith. After all, we're not given over to a spirit of fear. That's how they control the whole world. It's through fear tactics, whether rational or irrational. They control people out of fear. And that's why the whole world really hates people that walk out their faith rightly and truly, because they're not given over to a spirit of fear and cannot be controlled that way. So you have to discern in these times what's really going on. That's why when you see the impeachment thing, remember what this man said. There's an agenda at work. Are they trying to now use what happened with Trump as an excuse for your freedom of speech? I'll put a video together and link in this description to show you that that's probably what's going on. Now, I don't know if any of you can access this link or if it's just going to be shadow banned for you. So I've put this movie that was banned here on my channel and labeled hate speech. I invite you to go and watch this 20-minute flick. I'm going to link in the description here and pin in the comments the link to my Google Drive along with all three of these videos, because I noticed part 2 is partially banned and along with part 3, and they claim there's a copyright on this one. So if you don't watch the first 2 parts, it all goes together, and I try to keep them under 45 minutes because it just takes like 2 days to upload the video. Hopefully when we get the 5G in my area, I can go to platforms like BitChute, even though they shadow ban some of my content, maybe FairTube and other platforms like Parler that are coming out that claim they will not infringe on your free speech. So Until then, I'm going to use this Google Drive, which is pretty fast upload speed, and I'll put all the content there. Like I said, folks, I will paste all the links in the description to these videos, which are over here on my Google Drive, so that you can watch them and the information won't be censored. If you were unable to watch the latest football videos that I posted on my channel. In particular, regarding the comments made by Paulster X here and these statist defenders of the mass media propaganda that we're led to believe, I wish you would go and watch this 20-minute video right here via this link and see if what this fellow said about it being propaganda or conspiracy theory is true. And if it's hate speech, as this platform right here suggested it was and removed it from my channel. And probably the link is shadow banned on this platform. So why is it that they don't want you to see it? It's because it's provocative truth that they don't want us to consider, because it puts them in the worst light possible. So use your common sense and you'll come to the truth.